everyone, it's Nancy here and I'm back with a Saturday Stash Dive for you, and this week is rainbows. I am teamed up with Roni-Sue and I've gone through my stash and I have tried to pick out stuff that is rainbow. Had real problems finding red and finding purple. I was moaning the other day how I don't ever use purple, and I sort of struggled through all the stuff that was in the basic grey Second City stuff, and now I have no purple left, so I've managed to find these few bits of purple. So these are just a selection of Project Life cards, and then here I have a selection of old and very old papers from my stash. So I am going to see what I can come up with, and yeah, hopefully with something with female rainbows. So stay watching and I'll see you all in a second. Bye! So to start the layout, I chose a piece of the Dear Lizzie paper, and this has like a small polka dot on it and like some scribbles. And I had the idea that I wanted to use this stamp. The stamp was already on my stamp block, and it's one from my recent haul. It's from one of the Gorgeous Girl stamps. And so I'm just stamping that with Versamark because I want to heat emboss this. I do have to sort of stand up and give it a little bit of welly. And then I'm just going to put some of this black embossing powder over. And I'm really enjoying using embossing powder at the moment. So I've just done that, and I am just going to kind of get rid of some of the other smudges on there. And I decide I want another frame down here at the corner. I know that I'm going to be putting a lot of colour on here, so I thought I wanted to ground it with black, and I said this background paper is black and white, and then I wanted to put these glossy black frames on it. So I am just going to heat emboss those. I do want to apologise if there is kind of slight hissing in the background. I do have a heater on and it is making a bit of a funny noise. It is quite chilly here. So I am just using my heat gun to heat emboss these, and that frame is really quite detailed, and it embosses really well. So I am just going to cut a little bit of this out because you don't want to keep seeing me do that. You'll see that I've got my Dilutions mists there at the side, and I've got them out in the colours of the rainbow that I have, and I'm just going to spray them down the side of the frame. I'm still not 100% sure what I'm doing here, and some of the sprays are better than others, some are kind of more widespread. When I do put this dark blue on, it does kind of spray all over the green and affects that colour, so I'm not 100% happy how that looks, so I do go back and add some more of the other colours over the top. And as with most of my layouts, a lot of this gets covered up. But you know, it kind of echoes this kind of rainbow theme which we were going for with the Stash Dive, and I knew because I didn't have many purple papers that this was going to be a good way to kind of bring some of that colour in. So I'm now going through those bits of paper that I pulled out, which are a variety of different sort of, you know, scraps and Project Life cards. These are the back of some Amy Tan papers. And this I think is a bit from one of the larger pieces of paper I pulled because it was a nice orange. This is then a Project Life card, so I'm just going to be ripping that, and I decided to rip it because I wanted to kind of create that kind of like rusticy effect in each of these frames. So you're just going to see me layering these up, and I can't decide whether I'm going to layer them on top of each other or tuck them all in neat. So I'm not really sure what I'm doing here, and I pull out that blue. The only purple one does have a little bit of text on, but in the end that's mostly covered up, so you can't see that either. And then again, a lot of these sort of cards have been in my stash for a long while. So with all that in sort of place, I'm now looking at my photo. And actually, before I even kind of thought about, you know, the rainbow stuff, I knew I wanted to scrap this photo, and the colours in this photo are actually kind of quite primary colour because the sky is really blue, and then of course the building has yellow and red on it, so actually the photo works really well. I wanted to use some black and white to ground that, and again these were bits that I had in my stash. I think they're both from the DIY collection, and so I'm just going to use those scraps up that I've got, and again I'm hoping that's going to help ground everything with the colours that I've got on here. I did pull this doily out and think about adding that. I do then spray this doily, and it looks okay, but I shouldn't have tipped it up because then all the colour ran, and it kind of soaked into the paper weirdly, and yeah, I play about with it for quite a while, but it's not right for this. So I do end up just adding that actually into my art journal, and using it on an art journal page, and it works really well on that actually. So I tried and failed to use it on this layout. But, you know, it's good. I've had that doily in my stash forever not using it, so it's good to actually get it used up. So I'm just pulling out my black ink here, and I decide that I'm going to edge everything in the black, because that's not only is going to help everything more uniform, but make all the colours stand out differently. So I'm just going to edge everything with the black. As I said, this photo is kind of, you know, on a lovely blue skied day, and this is actually the building out of where I used to run one of the education programs, and I worked out this building for the last 3 years, and earlier this year we decided to close the program that was running in this centre. So I really wanted to make a layout to just kind of mark that kind of, not occasion, but you know, that kind of thing. It was kind of quite a big thing to kind of set this up, and to lose it was, you know, really sad. So I just wanted to mark that with some journaling. And as I said, as the colours of the building were pretty bright and gaudy, it seemed to work really well. So I decided to layer these colours up from the bottom up, because of the way I kind of ripped them. And they're not 100% kind of like filling up the frame, but I wanted to make sure you could still see the edge of that frame, because it is kind of quite detailed. I don't have to worry so much at the bottom, because I know that a lot of it is going to you know, hang off the edge, and I can just cut that down. And I actually had real fun doing this layout and using all those colours. I'm not afraid of colour, as you know, but I've kind of like resisted kind of like the rainbow. I've done it on a couple of layouts maybe, but you know, it was really fun to kind of search through my stash and realise how you don't kind of have like any particular things of one colour. Like, I knew the kind of blue I wanted, which, you know, is that very royal blue, but I only had one journaling card with that on, so I'm just going to fuss around a little bit of my placement, and as you'll see, I cover up a lot of that misting. I wanted to try and not cover so much up at the bottom. I liked how it looked, but maybe I say it didn't go as well as it could have. So I'm just adding that, and here I cut this doily in half to look at adding that. I think because everything is kind of very much black and white, and this was actually a cream-based doily that I sprayed, it just wasn't working. It kind of looked okay there at the bottom, but I couldn't get the other half to look right, and the kind of order that it was sprayed didn't kind of work if I tipped it upside down on the other side of that photo. Hope you understand what I mean there. But yeah, it just really didn't look right, so they didn't end up getting used. But I do fuss with them, because I kind of like the idea. So I know that I need to put something else over that side of the photo, because it looks a little blank. I'm just running some black ink around the edge of the photo, and just covering that up so I can then use my spray mists again. I take all of the colours I used before and I sprinkle them across the page in the order, and again it's just echoing that rainbow theme. I'm actually really pleased how that worked, and and maybe you could have done something more with that rather than the layers of paper, but I actually really like how it came out. And I actually ended up using the fuchsia pink as the sort of violet-y colour. So I'm just going to use my glue to stick down a couple of the edges there. So I'm now looking for these other colours that I pulled out, because I want to add something in there for my journaling. So these cards are from Dear Lizzie. I think they're the Fifth and Frolic ones, maybe. I kind of brought a sample pack. Here in the UK, the Hey Little Magpie shop actually sort of sells split kits. So I did buy the Dear Lizzie one because I didn't want all of it. Should have maybe learnt that lesson and done that with all the others. I did just cut out that banner there to layer over the photo. And that's actually where I'm going to put my journaling. And again, that other journaling box was just cut out of a Project Life card. And I'm really trying to get through my Project Life card stash. I'm now just looking through for some other sort of journaling boxes I can use. I did pull out that card that had keys on. I was going to use that, and then I laid it on my desk and there was some green ink there, and it ended up getting green on it, so I didn't end up using that. I did fussy cut one, but it didn't kind of look right. So I want to put this one down here at the bottom, but I am going to end up having to cut it down and then pull up a little bit of those layers to get it to stick down. But that actually creates a nice base again, where I can add some of my title on top of that. And again, I'm just edging everything in black because I want to kind of create that uniformity. This layout probably took me just over an hour. I did struggle, as I said, with the kind of spraying and waiting for that to dry, and of course the paper buckles if you spray, because I spray quite close. So yeah, that did annoy me slightly. I'm now taking out these white thickers, and these were the thickers that Joanne sent me, and they're really great. They're just a really basic kind of fun white foam thicker. And I'm going to put my subtitle, I suppose, down here, even though I use the same letters for my title. And I decided to use sort of a list to kind of put down here. So I'm just basically detailing that we were there for 3 years. I had 13 staff. We had 68 kids over those 3 years. It was 45 miles there and back for me to work there. I didn't work there every day, but that is quite a way to travel. And then I'm going to put a longer title at the bottom, which is equals a lot of heartache, because it was kind of it was really sad to see the centre go, because everyone kind of involved and put in so much energy, but these things happen, and it's made my life easier. I wouldn't say better, it's just made my life easier because I don't have such a long journey. And so I went for a lot of words on here with the title, and this white thickers work really well, and it really does contrast against the rainbow effect in the background. And so I'm just layering it over the bottom, say where I'd already layered those other 2 pieces of black and white paper, and the font actually stands up quite well to that. So yes, you are going to see me fuss around with this quite a bit. I then want to use the equal sign, so I end up cutting up a couple of the ones, because there was quite a lot of numbers on this sheet, so I just cut a couple of those up to create my equal sign. I did kind of contemplate putting times there, so it's like 3 kids times this times this times that equals heartache, but no, went against that. And then I'm going to add another part of my title up here, which is end of the journey. because I said not only referring to the long journey that I had to get there, but also the journey of setting up the centre, making contacts, working with the kids. It was a real journey, and I learnt a lot on it. Mainly how actually staff are more of a pain than the kids. So really happy how this actually came out, and the title works really well on this layout. I am just now going to mount it on this piece of grey cardstock. I didn't have any black would have probably been better, but I am just using that dark grey, and I used quite a lot of adhesive on there because I wanted to make sure it actually stuck down. I'm now going through the homemade enamel dots that Joanne sent me, and also some that Sharon sent me, to get the colours that I want. I wanted to kind of sprinkle them on here. I do fuss with these quite a lot. I was going to go with 2, then I was going to go with 3. I'm actually really pleased with how it looks in the end. It is a little bit kind of, stark, maybe, kind of where I've put some of them, and but I like the texture it adds. So I kind of lost a bit of the texture of the paper when I stuck the title over it, so I do like how these look, but I do fuss with them quite a lot. And I want to kind of mix them sort of, throughout the layout and sort of make a diagonal across it. But I knew I wanted to still leave me enough room to do my journaling on that card. So I'm just using my normal wet glue to stick everything down. And I find that I have no problem using this glue to stick these enamel dots down. And I do like these ones because these are a slightly larger size than some of the other homemade enamel dots that I've got. I presume they're because I use a slightly bigger bead. But the colours worked fab for this layout. So just going to finish placing those around, and they really remind me of Skittles. And their whole thing is about tasting the rainbow. So here is a close-up of the final layout. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you've been inspired. Please go and check out Roni-Sue, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye!